You look cold. I'm sorry.
All right, it is 6:05. So we'll get started. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. Really appreciate it. It's been a while. I hope you all had a good holiday break, good New Year's, spending time with family and friends and all that. Glad to see you all back. And glad to see you guys are still posting away on the Facebook page, still interacting with stuff. Had a little bit of a lull, I think, for December, but I think myself and the board, and I hope all of you are ready to get back out there and start doing some good stuff. So I just wanted to reiterate that I posted on our Facebook page and sent out on our email list the end of the year report. I'm gonna show that and go over it. I'm not gonna go over every little thing, but we do have aspects of it that I think are really awesome to share. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and then we're gonna dive into it. But I guess first, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that's been going on the last month? No? Cool. Great. We can certainly dive into that after as well too. But let me just share my screen. So typically, as we are an official nonprofit, like a standard operating thing is kind of producing like a year-end reports. Honestly, and it also helps me compile everything to do the nonprofit reporting and submitting of taxes and stuff like that too. The myself and the board worked on this together. This was a great opportunity for us to talk about in our last board meeting earlier this month, about all of the cool stuff that we've done, talk about what we would like to see in this, and kind of talk a little briefly about what we'd like to see for this year too. So it's we just have the cover page here, table of contents. If you are on a PDF, it is interactable. You can click on any link on the table of contents and it'll bring you right to it, which is fun. And kind of just starting off, reiterating our mission, of course, which the Spanish Pond Watershed Project is a network of local stakeholders, or who we are impacted by the water quality issues within the Sabattus Pond watershed. And then going off of our mission, which we crafted before we became a nonprofit, but we work to protect, improve, sustain, and integrate resources for the Sabattus Pond, its watershed, its community, and its ecosystem. So, and throughout the report, I hope this is okay. I did credit everybody of who took the pictures and who, or essentially who posted them. But I did take a lot of pictures from our site and pictures that people sent us as well. And I hope you guys enjoy it. It was really fun to make. It was really cool to go back and kind of just see and remember where we were when I was looking at a post in the summertime, like, unsure about whether or not the dam repair would pass, going through those processes, like starting out, getting our bank accounts sorted out, getting our nonprofit status, like just an interesting journey. Um, the first thing that is in here for like actual content is just a letter from me to you guys, kind of detailing our successes, thanking everybody, of course, thanking our donors too as well up here. Everybody that donated this year, we have your names up there. I hope that's okay. And we very much appreciate it. As I say in this first little paragraph, without all of the support and generous donations from all of you and the hard work that everybody does as well, like none of this would be possible. So I wanted to create this report and really highlight all of the work that everybody has done and like continues to do. So I highly suggest giving it a read. Um, and just let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about it. We have some pictures from our annual event, which was really fun. I specifically notated all of the trash pickup that everybody had done, like which going through it all, like it was absolutely amazing to see how many different people and different groups of people were like working together to really just like pick up trash on the lake bed. Like people using four-wheelers to pull out like radiators and like giant heavy metal things. Like, I mean, I don't see, I work in community development and I work in community outreach and, I do see a lot of amazing things. But like, it's rurally, it's sometimes hard to connect that way. And I feel like it's really impressive the work that everybody has done coming together and doing these types of things. And the board of directors has a letter that they had wrote, and they have posted that as well. That is within this. And it thanks everybody for, their work and support and all that. And the point that I wanted to get to right now is our membership program. It is live. So we will be able to send you out an invoice for you to be able to pay online through email. It's through PayPal, so it's very secure. But if you would like to just send a payment the old-fashioned way through check, you can just mail a check to the address listed here, which is our PO box address. And the only thing that we ask is that if you are just put in the memo line that it's for a membership. And what does a membership get you? This little 1.5 pager document, or I guess 1.25 pager document, kind of details what this membership program is. The starting rate is kind of what we discussed at our annual meeting. It was further refined through a couple of our board meetings, and we talked about it last fall to begin at the beginning of this year to kind of give a solid calendar year for it and getting into the new tax year too. So we are open for accepting memberships. It is $45. Essentially, what it does is it gives you one vote per membership. I know we talked a little bit about possibly having it for from like a home price or something like that, but we just wanted to keep it simple. We wanted to keep it very accessible and equal for all as well. And essentially, what a membership gets you is it gets you 12 consecutive months of membership benefits. And we all we like to have plans and maybe doing a monthly newsletter and things like that. You would be included on that, of course. But also it gives you voting rights, which at our annual meeting, essentially like we created this organization to really have you be in control as the membership base and as the actual stakeholders. Being a member allows you voting rights and allows you to be able to pick and choose board members when their terms are up. It also allows you to be able to run for board member seats as well. This first year, we kind of had a little bit of like a different process because we first established, we needed a steering committee and stuff like that, but we finalized it all at our annual board meeting, if you remember. Starting this next annual year, we do have two board positions that are vacant, or I believe two or three regular board positions that are vacant and one officer position that is up as well. Gary, question?
Yeah, just wondered, do you guys have an idea when you'll have some sort of either commercial or corporate structure for membership? Is that
Yeah.
still on the plan, or has that been? Yeah, just
No, that is definitely still the plan.
okay.
There are a lot of different avenues for that, and I'm certainly currently still working on that. Well, probably what I was thinking about doing is more or less like a three-tiered system, for lack of a better term right now. Doing like gold, silver, platinum for businesses to be able to sponsor and join, and having different tiers of that. And like we actually, one thing I did want to talk to everybody about tonight is we have a tabling opportunity at the RSU Resource Fair coming up this spring. So that is an opportunity for us to be able to push out our brand, to be able to potentially even advertise if there is a corporate sponsor that would, help or donate money. Like, we might have like a little table runner made up with our logo or something on it, and then they can have a little square down in the corner as being part of a business or sponsored by in a way. So it's giving opportunity for local businesses to be able to kind of get their name out there. It helps us with funding and all of those types of things. But yes, it is in the works. Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Kim, did you have your hand up or did you just rejoin? Sorry, I just saw your name up there. No. Okay. All right. Okay. So, we talked a little bit about what the membership would do, and we talked about the time frame of it. Fair is fair, and like we're not trying to shortchange anybody for like, say if you paid in July and we were keeping it to the calendar year, you'd only have 6 months of membership, and like calculating that out wouldn't necessarily be that difficult, but somebody could potentially join like right before our annual meeting and then have the same amount of voting rights, but have paid less for that. So we're keeping it for 12 consistent months or 12 consecutive months. So say if you were to sign up in July, or you're a new member and you just find out about us this July and you sign up then, you would be good till next July. And that's just like an administrative accounting thing that we would just have to keep track of. So no big deal there, but you'd get 12 consecutive months of that.
That's 45 per person, right, Nick?
Yes, 45 per person. And just a quick note, if you do send a check, and it's the check amount is for two people, say it's for $90, just indicate, because only one person's name might be on the check, if it's not a shared account, just indicate with a little note in the envelope that it's for this person and this person, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we do have, like I said, a PayPal account. It's a simple process. Essentially, if you do want to pay online, you can just reach out to me. You can even let me know in a meeting. I can mark it down, and we can have our secretary, who's in charge of our PayPal account, just open it up, create a quick invoice to you. It'll be sent through email. So when you do tell me, if you either give me a phone call or shoot me a text or send me an email that you would like to join or be a member, just give me your email when you do, and that way we can send you the invoice right to your email. You log on, you just go on your email, you just pay it that way. It's that easy, and you'll get a receipt sent to you too. So it's a quick and easy process. If you'd like to pay by online or online in PayPal, but mail still works too, and we certainly will not dissuade that.
You get to keep all the money if it's a check, don't you?
Yes, yeah. So there is a small processing fee, I believe, when it comes to the online service. There is an option to, I think, and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. I know we've seen this on other sites, but for donating, it's like you can cover that fee. Sometimes I think it's like a dollar or something like that. It depends on the transaction amount, but there is a process to kind of have that be covered. But we can figure that out too. Justin, did you notice anything when you were on today, if that was the case, or were you just testing out t-shirt invoices? Sorry, Justin, I can't hear you if you're talking, but we can talk too and revisit that. But all right. So membership, this page is, like I said, is available on our Facebook page. It's available through the Google link that I sent. And it's available as a picture down here too. So if anybody does want any information about it, it's always going to be available to you. And we, of course, will talk about that, as the years go by as well. So it's looking pretty good. A couple of the other things that we highlighted is the testing program, which spearheaded by Lou in his volunteering and getting certified, and the Lake Stewards of Maine, which I believe is Kristen Garrett and Dan Garrett were helping with that. And the Sabattus Fire Department were letting us use their boat for the first couple times, which was honestly a great thing. And it was a really great combination of working with our local municipalities.
Do you have a picture of the t-shirt, Nick?
I do, yes, and I'll show that to you guys. Yeah, let me just get it real quick.
Just to be clear, they're not ready yet. We just need to figure out when we do them, how do we deliver them? We don't want to have to pay for shipping. Do we do pickup?
Yeah.
But stay tuned.
And I can show pictures of them now.
And I think we may have mentioned it's Bob the screen printer. He's a local business that some people might know.
Have a price on them?
Yeah, we were going to do 25, and if we have to end up by shipping, I don't think it would be any more than $5. But
If it's, don't hold me to this, but 2XL and above are, I think, $3 more
Extra.
per shirt. I don't think it's extra large. I think it's double extra large.
yeah, double extra large, but $3 extra, I think, is the notes that I have. All right, I will.
No, you taking orders, you know what sizes before you get them printed?
That's essentially why. Yeah, we're taking orders right now. we can take orders. If you do want a shirt, like I said, we only have 24. So if you do want one, definitely let us know and we can mark you down on that list. Like AB was saying, like we're still going to try to figure out shipping and stuff like that because we know not everybody lives in the state or lives like around during some of the year. So if there's like an opportunity to come pick them up if you're close by, that's definitely an option too. Just working out those logistics is really the only thing that we got to do.
Yeah.
But
And we maybe we should
yeah.
send a follow-up email because we also have there's three colors, right?
Yeah.
We had to pick three specific colors. So those, I think you have them right there, right? Those are
Yeah.
sort of the three colors.
Yeah, I will send
It's
in
like
a follow-up
olive,
email and of
gray,
colors.
and
Yeah.
blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have I have the names of the colors right here. We have olive drab green, which is up top. We have
Not a great
graphite.
name, by the way.
I
Drab
know, yeah.
green.
It's very interesting. We have graphite heather, which is right here, and we have light blue. So essentially, if I'm remembering this correctly, this is the front of the shirt. This would be like kind of like on the chest area. And then on the back of the shirt would be this design right here, which says Sabattus Pond Watershed Project established 2024. So this background color is not like necessarily an available shirt color, but it's just to show you what the design will be on the back. And then this design up here, where my mouse is, this little star thing will be on the front, in the like chest pocket area. So, and you have a choice between these three colors. And I'll make that clear in the post, and I'll post that on Facebook and on our email list. But if you do want one and you know what your sizes are and you know what colors, just let us know. You can shoot me an email, you can send me a text, or you can shoot me a message on Facebook too, and we can get those ordered. They are a limited time offer. Like I said, we only have, I believe, 24. So it is going to be first come, first serve for those, but we would like to use the money that we do gain from that and kind of roll that into some more promotional material to try to like one, increase our brand and our presence out there, like, people wearing our shirts, people, buying those things, and then kind of roll that out over into that through that generous donation from Georgia and AB.
Is the price going to stay the same if we order more?
So like if you ordered two, would it still be 25?
No, if you order more than what we've got for the free promotion.
I'm not sure. We would have to probably calculate that
Yeah, I
to see.
I gotta follow up with them about that. I don't think it will be much different. Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't make as much.
Yeah. Which yeah.
Right.
There's also some lake associations that we've seen and we've talked about a little bit, like the China Lake Association on their association website. They have a bunch of different like swag like options, like they have hoodies, they have hats, they have t-shirts and stuff like that. And it seems like you can order them directly and pick them on the site. And we believe that it's like a company that does that. They have the designs be, static. And like after you choose them, and essentially, I think what it does is you are on that Lake Association site. You click that you want to buy a T-shirt. It kind of funnels it back ways through the this promotional site. That order gets sent to them, and then they can actually mail it out directly to you. So that is something that we'd like to try to see and look into to see how much that is. But we still, of course, like to do local as well. So we're looking into all of those things. And another topic is getting our website up and fully running. Not a lot of us have a lot of like are invested in that particular skill set. It's certainly something that I'm not that familiar with. We've been trying to tinker around a little bit, but appreciate the patience on it. That is definitely one of my number one goals of this year is to try to get that website up and running because I definitely think a centralized source of information and posting all of the like really amazing historical records that we have on our site. Let's see. On our site. That's not it. Hold on 1 second. Research and information, historical docs. Here we go. posting all of our awesome historical records that are dozens and dozens of pages long sometimes, and just having quick access to that. If you look at the last page of our year-end doc, I actually include a link to that, and of course we have it on our Facebook page as well. But if you're ever interested in what's going on or interested in some of the historical docs that we have, you can just go and click on that link, and it will bring you right to where we just were. So it has all of our information that we've done and collected and that we use. I'm going to put Lou's most recent research or data collection in there as well, so people will have access to that, which is going to be great.
Are we continue?
Yes, yeah.
Good.
I mean, Lou, if you're still up for it, I think we after what 2 weeks after ice out is what we do, and getting back out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure we were going to do it because originally we were going to drain the lake
Oh, right.
like the whole
Yes,
year, but
yeah.
it looks like we'll get half a year anyway. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. All right. And I wanted to touch on that tabling event a little bit. That is let's see if I can find the link, but it is a local charitable organization that you all might know. It's called the Community Cares Backpack Program. It is a program that helps deliver backpacks to groups of students. It gives backpacks to groups of students on Fridays throughout the school year, essentially with food and some snacks in there for them to have during the weekend and stuff like that. It's an awesome program. It's been around for a couple of years now. It operates within RSU4, but every year they do host a little resource fair around April or so. So one thing, I reached out to that nonprofit executive director and asked her if we could get a table for that event. It's usually very large. They have a lot of different programs. Like they have, I think last year they had opportunities for like free haircuts if any kids wanted those types of things. They have resources from like charitable organizations that come and also do tabling events. I think just having a presence there would be really welcoming, and we can kind of hone in some of our science communication stuff and try to, just get our name out there some more and get some more feedback or some more like noise generated and stuff like that. Let's see. That is right here. They're always, if you have the time and you're looking for volunteer opportunities, highly suggest taking a look at this group. They do a lot of great work. They work really hard, and they do a really important thing. So, but this is the Community Resource Fair. It's April 26th, 2025, and I'm going to send out the link just as a link in our chat, just so if anybody wants to view it and look at it. Definitely a great organization that could definitely use some local support, but great opportunity for us as well. Something just keep on the radar. And finally, the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, at least from our annual reports, is grant opportunities. So I know we talk about this a lot, or we've talked about this a lot, but we're in the process right now applying for the 604B grant. I know I've mentioned this one a lot too, but it is essentially a grant that allows us to get some funding from the state to produce a watershed plan. And now, in order to apply for larger grants and say some grants that help with remediation and trying to fix Sabattus Pond, a requirement for that is having a watershed plan in place, which expires every 10 years or 10 years after it's created. I believe our last one did actually expire, I think in like 2019, 17, Donna, I see you. Yeah, I see you nothing. 2017. So we are certainly in need of one, and that is definitely the next grant step in this process. That would allow us to apply for the 319 grants, which is those bigger grants that many other community lake associations or nonprofits apply for and help use to do remediation. And the biggest thing about the 319 grants is that they do require some matching funds. So every dollar that we ask for, we have to match. So our focus, a big portion of our focus this year is going to try to start establishing those foundations to generate a lot more different streams of revenue through fundraising, through membership, and through corporate sponsorships. I really do think that, we have an interesting opportunity here, and to apply for that 604B grant, which opens up in April, I believe. And I think it only is open for like a month, but we'll have the grant drafted well before then, which is already, I have a very rough draft of it right now, essentially, but it just doesn't take much refining. I just don't know what the specifications are for this year and if it would change from last year. So that's just what I'm waiting for to dive in a little bit more. But we should receive like the RFP or the request for proposals for that grant opportunity within the coming months, which will be good. So.
Yeah. You have any idea, Nick, what the cost will be?
So I don't know if we actually spoke with I'm going to mess this up all the time, Donna, the Androscoggin Valley Soil and Conservation District. Yeah, okay, good. And we spoke with them, a member of their group, very early on, I believe, or very late in 2023. And so the stipulation with these types of grants is that they need a municipal town or city or a quasi-municipal organization like this conservation district to be able to accept the funds. Even though we're a nonprofit for this specific grant opportunity, we wouldn't be able to like receive those funds. A quasi-municipal organization has to receive them on our behalf. How that has typically been done in the past with organizations like us or other lake associations or road associations that have sometimes done it is that they partner up with these quasi-municipal conservation districts, or even the municipality. Say like if our pond was just in one town, certainly an option. Our pond is in 3 different towns, so it might make it a little bit difficult to try to coordinate with 3 towns with that. So the conservation district encompasses all of Androscoggin County. So that is where we are going to probably look into. So I'm in the process of going to schedule a meeting with them to talk about what those logistics would look like, because a requirement of that grant is to try to list out any like subcontractors that you might use for some of the work. But from what I remember her saying, and this is about, keep in mind, late 2023, I think it was between 30 and 50,000 for the watershed plan to do all of the work and things like that. That is a really rough memory. If anybody does remember, please let me know and correct me, but I can also look back at that for more details. But 30K is sticking in my head pretty hard.
So we'd have to come up.
We do not have to come up with that match money, I don't believe. Donna, were you going to comment on that?
I came in late on that when I joined in 2005 or 2006. I think that things were already in place.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the organization had to come up with any front money. Just for your information, though, just put it in your quiver. The woman that we worked with was Susan Gammon from Androscoggin Valley Watershed District.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think I want to say the one that we worked with was Andrea, or we met with was Andrea or something. But yeah, I can definitely look into that. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I do have an email from Linda Bacon that does break down the cost of the grants. I don't believe the 604B has a matching requirement. I'm pretty sure I know for sure the 319 does, but
Right.
yeah.
The 604, from what I remember, was the funds that enabled us to construct a road association.
Oh,
So
okay.
that we were able to use money from that grant to go to Dan Dutel in Lewiston with members of my road and put together a road association.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm sure there's some like contingencies in there that allow for that type of flexibility. So that's great to hear.
And you can see by the the membership of people that are interested in this, there's a big Mars Point presence.
Yeah, no, there certainly is.
So it probably it worked out to make that initial investment to help us get together, because we're still working.
Yeah, and to
Gary
create,
and Diane, and I don't know who else was on here from Carlisle, but
to create those stewardship opportunities and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah. So that is awesome to hear. And I'm really looking forward to getting into that process and really trying to establish that type of funding. So, and of course, I have not heard any more new information about the new grant opportunity that they were working on last year, and I believe first awarded for last year, which was for the alum treatment. I don't know if all of you recall, but we did discuss it and talk about it. It was about $200,000 being made available to every organization in the state who, assumingly, who would apply. And it was still a question of whether or not those whoever got that grant money or who was accepted into that grant program, if that would be split, would that be? And I believe it was going to be split if there were multiple awardees of that grant. So it was $200,000 max, which
The organization would have to come up with another 800,000.
essentially, yeah. I mean, and our lake is not very deep, and it is, or our pond is not very deep. It is fairly large in area to some other ponds, but pricing it out just a couple years ago when I started doing this research, it was over $1 million.
Yeah.
So, and we learned from the other lake association that spoke at our meeting, the Togus Lake Association, and the Togus Lake Association, that it cost them over $1 million as well, I believe, or 800,000 split into two payments. 400,000 and then
Two treatments of 400 apiece.
Yeah. So certainly a big price tag, but definitely something to keep an eye on. And hey, if you run into your state reps, definitely make sure to let them know as well, because we all know that state legislatures are the ones that kind of make those laws. So highly encourage talking to them if you see them out and about. That is what they're there for. Okay, so that is everything that I had on this. Oh yeah, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I posted our last video of the year, and it has 123 views, which is our largest video view that we've ever had. And I'm not entirely sure why or where that traffic came from, but it has quite a few. And a lot of our other videos have gotten much more views, like a lot of our older ones too. I don't know what that necessarily means, but just wanted to note that this is the first time that we really surpassed 100 views on one of our videos before. So kind of cool to celebrate. And we have 27 subscribers now, and we started the year out with, I think, 2, which one of them was me. So from a different account, but yeah. We're moving, we're picking up. We have 280 people on our Facebook page now. We have about 55 or something on our email list. I really think consolidating that all of that information on our website and kind of pushing people to that website will really help increase that email list as well. So I am energized moving into this new year, and I hope you all are too. But I'm going to open up the floor to anybody else now. I know I've been talking for 40 minutes. But anybody have any questions, comments, anything they want to talk about? Or just say how your holidays were. I hope they were all good. I hope you had a good time with friends and family.
I'd just like to know, what is I think I know, but what is the current status of drawing down the lake again? Is it in April now? Is that what the decision was?
I think it moved. Yeah, Gary.
Yeah. So, yeah, right now I would say it's most likely it's going to be somewhere between July 15th and July 1st. I'm sorry, June 15th and July 1st.
That far out?
Yes.
Wow.
What happened to the Dam Commission's meeting when they voted to do it in April?
There were some conflicts and issues with inland fisheries and wildlife as far as water levels and dates that the water level can change. So basically, we're back to where we were last year with the when we were talking about opening it July 1st or possibly the middle of June.
And so, again, well, when is the date, or is it not?
It's going to be somewhere between June 15th and July 1st.
It's when we
Gary-
can get the permits.
Yeah.
We're shooting for June 15th, but if we can't, it'll be July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And do we know yet the timing of how long it's going to take to repair the dam?
No, at this point we don't. We just up to speed since our last meeting. We got bids. I believe it was December 19th, right before the holidays. We opened those bids early January, and right now we're in the process of reviewing the bids. We have some legal questions we're just waiting for some advice on from our lawyers. So I'd say probably within the next 2 weeks, we should have some good answers and timelines as far as, how things are going to move forward. We are very encouraged by, I think I reported, when we had the inspection for the dam, we had 12 or so contractors come, to look at the project. And just as it turned out, with all of the road work and other work that needs to be done from other, big storms we've had, that, a lot of those did not bid on this project. So again, we're just waiting for some advice, and hopefully within a couple of weeks, we should have, more information.
But it is still a goal, right, to rebuild the dam?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Gary, have you talked to Casey at all about what that difference now means for those programs downstream? The having to push that open date back to June or forward to June.
No.
No.
Nope. There has not been any conversation about how they'll deal with those projects.
Okay. I saw that there's going to be a special meeting on the Sabattus town office posted that on the 20th. Is that accurate?
So we did the paperwork for it. Again, we're waiting for, some advice from legal, and then we'll move forward from there. Again, nothing major, just procedural. You have to dot this I before you can, as with grants and processes, so we're just, like I said, we're just waiting on some advice, and once we have that, we'll move forward. So there may or may not be a meeting on Monday at this point. We just had to post it 7 days before the meeting.
Yeah.
So we posted it hoping that we could have the meeting, but it may not actually take place.
Okay.
Is there any chance that meeting will be broadcast?
Most likely not. No.
Do you have some companies that made it through the bid process?
No.
Oh, so you're still working on that? Is that what you're talking about?
What was the question, Donna? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I'm wondering if there are some companies that have put in a bid that we can live with, or is that what you're still trying to work out?
Correct.
So there are bids, and there are bids, and you're trying to figure out which company to go with, which bid to go with.
So I'll chime in here. This is JD. I don't know if anybody knows me, but
Oh, hi.
we put the thing out to bid, and we had two companies bid on it. One was Gordon Construction, which is a main company, and the other one was William P. Davis out of Hampton, New Hampshire. We ended up rejecting both bids at the last meeting. The Gordon bid was almost double what we anticipated our budget to be, so that just wasn't even a player. And then the second bid from William P. Davis was closer. It was closer in line to our budget, but it was still high, and they basically submitted an incomplete bid. They didn't list their suppliers. They didn't list their subcontractors. And we also had some concerns about their ability to execute the project. Simply, not that they're not a savvy contractor, they may be, but they didn't have anything in their history. They're a small company. They didn't have anything in their history that indicated that they could handle a project of this scale. They just they've never done anything this large. They've done some dam work, mostly cosmetic kind of dam repairs, things like that. But this would have been their largest project they've ever had to date. So the engineer kind of gave us some indications that, he didn't know them. He didn't know of the company. He reached out and tried to get a little more information from some of their references, but there was just some questions as to whether they'd actually be able to execute the project. So based on that, we voted on last Wednesday to reject both bids and then engage with other contractors outside of a competitive bid process to see whether we can just get this done with working with one or two contractors and kind of do a competitive process to whatever extent we can outside of an official bid process. So that's kind of what we're in the middle of, and that's kind of what Gary was alluding to. Our intent was to have a special meeting, as you guys probably saw on the websites, and talk with a couple different contractors. We're working with the attorney right now as to whether that is, a legitimate way of moving forward. So our intent was to talk with one contractor in executive session, and then another contractor in executive session, so that the two contractors are not in the same meeting together, competing. That doesn't do us any good. So right now we're just trying to resolve whether that, whether that's legit, whether we can do that in executive session, or whether we have to do some other process. And once we know that, we'll let everybody know.
JD, and you're saying instead of doing another like bid and then just having those two reapply to that bid, that you're looking to see if you can do this.
Yeah, or we
session
just pick one and negotiate with them as best we can. So yeah, I mean, it's unlikely that we're going to go out to a full competitive bid again. If we did that, that means pushing the project to FY20 or to calendar year 6. That's not our desire. So we're more interested in knocking this out in 25.
So essentially seeing if going through the bid process, not getting any suitable bids, fulfills that requirement of having a bid and then going with another contract.
Yeah, we tried to competitively bid it. We gave our full effort to do that. We had 12 companies show up for the walkthrough and the pre-bid inspection. So we really expected to get at least 4.
Mm-hmm.
But there was extenuating circumstances for a lot of them. A lot of them were worried about the time frame. Starting in July and ending in November 15th. That's a tight timeline. So understandable that some people that work in multiple projects can't necessarily put their entire force at it and knock it out in that short time frame. One of the other companies had a bid bond issue where they had multiple bids out there, and so they weren't able to they were basically bond locked out.
Yeah.
They've subsequently resolved that problem, so they may be a player now. Others, just dropped out because they had other projects. So that's just kind of the way it rolls. So that's kind of where we sit. And I don't think any of us on the dam commission are worried that we can't get it done. I think we will get it done. It's just going to be a lot of back and forth to get it done. So
Do you guys have
JD,
like a, oh, sorry, go Donna.
So I just want to see if I understand it. So you got a quote from, I think maybe New Hampshire company for like 4.5 million. And then a quote from a local company that you don't have a history with for like 1.5 million. And you're trying to figure out something somewhere in between those two extremes. Help me understand.
No,
So-
Donna.
So you
Yeah,
got
Donna.
it opposite and mixed and upside down. So
Yep.
so
Help me.
I didn't mention any numbers. So the local company was one that, I mean, they're a main company. I wouldn't say they're local. They were the ones that were very high, extremely
Main
high.
company. Okay.
Yep. And that's apparently kind of the way the market is right now. They got so much work that they can throw out a high bid, and if they get it, then they'll respond to it. But if they don't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. That's kind of the philosophy. So that was just way out of budget for us.
Okay.
The other one was the New Hampshire company, and that bid was more in line with us, but it was still high.
Was it still over 1.5 million?
I'm not
What
sure where
did
you're
we
getting the
budget?
1.5 million, but
I don't know. What did we budget for? Didn't we?
the whole project, we budgeted about 2.5 million.
Oh, 2.5 million. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we voted in that we would support.
Oh, I know where you're going, Donna. You're talking about just the dam reconstruction.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about is we can't really pull just the dam reconstruction portion of it out of the grant and the bid. We have to look at it as the dam reconstruction and the fishway together, because that's how the grant funding came in.
We're at 2.5, Donna. Donna, we were at 2.5.
Oh, so it's not just the dam. It involves this fish causeway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did.
In fact,
Okay, so-
but for the fishway, we probably
We
wouldn't
wouldn't get the grant.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they're linked, and they're going to continue to be linked. We can pull out the dam reconstruction portion to whatever extent we can, if for our portion of the 10% match, for example. We're not going to ask the towns to pay 10% match on the fishway. We're going to have the towns pay 10% match on the equivalent cost of the reconstruction component. So, which is less than the total amount.
What happens if you end up actually going over the budget that we've figured on? Who pays for that?
We don't really know the answer to that, but I mean, there are ways to address that through some of DMR's other grants potentially. That they've got some, I don't want to call it a slush fund and probably get somebody thrown in jail, but they've got additional funding for all of this massive grant funding that they've got. They've got upwards of 15, 20, $25 million worth of grant funding for the entire project, from Sabattus Dam down to the Androscoggin. So there's probably some potential to offset some of the costs with some of that funding, possibly to the option that we may have to go back out to the towns to request a little additional funding. We don't know the answer to that yet. So
We have the initial town funding at 400,000 apiece. Is that still in play, or are they back to the 40,000?
Well, the 10% is the 40,000, and
Right.
right now each town had voted on the 400,000. So technically that 400,000 is still in play, but we're trying to keep it to the 10%
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just
to the
curious.
greatest extent
whether or
possible.
not that
If it
money's
goes
still
up to 12% because of a slight bump in the funding required and the match required, we'll probably have to address that when the time comes. But again, we don't have all the answers to these questions, but we're
That's fine.
trying to keep
You're
you.
doing good.
Yeah, totally appreciate all your efforts.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, the worst case scenario, I'm sitting here saying, well, we told people April, and now it's saying mid-June, July, and I'm here as a Sabattus pond, and I don't think there's a plan. I mean, it doesn't sound like you've got anybody lined up to do this. There's a lot of unanswered questions that personally I thought were already answered, to be honest with you. I'm concerned we're going to have nobody, or we're not going to be able to afford it, and we're going to have to change the whole dam rebuild to 2026. And that's going to upset a lot of people because we've already told people what we're going to do. We fought for the bill to pass, or the grant to pass, and now I'm listening to what's going on. And maybe I'm being too critical, but I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy, to be honest with you.
Well, what's your alternative?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought this was a go already. I didn't realize we didn't even have a person lined up to do this. It was just a matter of getting an estimate on it.
Right. And if I may, that's why earlier I just asked, can you give us a couple weeks? We're trying to get, all of these things answered. I think in a couple weeks we'll know that, because at that point it'll be too late to submit permits. It'll be we can't line up contractors for 25. And I understand your frustration. Believe me, all of us have it, but there are many, many levels to a project like this. Some think that the approval is a hard part. I believe the process to get it done is a hard part. We're doing what we have to do to go through this process. So yeah, again, like earlier, I say, we will know more in a couple weeks, and we can tell you, what our plan forward is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because, like me personally, I've already made the decision, and a lot of people have it. We're not going to put our docks in this year. We're not going to put our boats in a lot of things this year because of draining the lake. And now if something doesn't happen in 2 weeks and we miss that window to get permits and stuff, and it gets kibosh, then we got to go back and say, well, you can put your dock in, you can put your boat in, you can do this again. Again, I'm sorry. I'm just being a little, it just doesn't sound good to me.
Well, how do you, hey, Wayne, this is JD. How do you think it sounds to us? We're trying to knock this thing out. And I understand and appreciate your concern, and the inconvenience that you may not be able to put your dock in at the time that you want. I mean, I'm the same way. I live on the lake too. So the bottom line is that we're going to have a contractor lined up to do the work in 25,
Right.
unless something real shitty happens. And we've got options. We don't have the answer right now as to who it's going to be. But we've got two very good options, at least at this point. And we are busting our asses to make sure that we get this done in 25. If something happens where can't do it in 25, it's not because we didn't give the effort. It's because that's just sometimes the way contracting goes. We're working on a federal grant that is administered through a state 501c3, in addition to a state governmental entity, down to the dam commission, and the dam commission to a contractor, and from that contractor to a bunch of subcontractors. In fact, the dam commission is a subcontractor to DMR. So there's like 17 moving parts on this thing.
Yeah.
And, we're a bunch of laymen that have everybody's best interests at heart, and we're doing our best, and we're trying to keep you informed. The other option is that we don't keep you guys informed and we keep it all quiet and we don't tell you anything. But that's not my preferred option. The preferred option is to keep you guys in the loop and let you give us your opinions so that we can at least judge the feeling on things. But don't think we don't have your best interest at heart. We do.
And
We're working on it.
I wasn't saying you didn't have. I'm just saying from what information you're giving me tonight, it sort of put me a little nervous. And I know everything you can, and I respect that, and I really do. It's just based on what you've told this group tonight. It concerns me. That's all.
Well, I mean, let me know your concern. What is the concern, and I will address it as best I can.
The bottom's going to fall out of it, and we're not going to do the dam.
Well, that can happen regardless of what we've told you tonight. I mean, it's a contract, it's a construction project, and that can happen at any time. But we're trying to do our best assessments of risk and minimizing those risks to force this project to happen this year at a cost that is amenable to 3 towns and falls within the budget of the grant and keeps everybody happy. So there's a whole bunch of moving parts here, and then we get the lawyers, and the lawyers get a vote. Hence the reason why, we're in the situation we're in is they're trying to protect the towns and the dam commission and make sure everything is done fairly and above board. And the dam commission is trying to make sure everything is done fairly and above board. And I think that's why we're where we're at. We're trying to do everything right, and I think we're going down that path. There's nothing that I think anybody on the dam commission has seen to date that gives any indication that this thing is not going to happen in 25. I'm not speaking for them, but I've spoken to every one of them, and I speak to them regularly. So,
well, I want to say something to JD and Gary and Lou. I'm sure you understand Wayne's frustrations. I'm sure that that's right in the back of your mind, that you don't want to disappoint people on the lake. But I want to say that I support your efforts, and thank you. Go ahead and keep making it happen.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate that.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I agree. Like the confusion around some of the stuff, it's like, none of us are, or is like, especially like trained in dam repair, or like the process that it would take, or the complexity that it involves. But I definitely do understand Wayne's frustration with the confusion about what is going on and everything. But I think we all are in that same boat, the dam commission included in that way. But I do appreciate you being here to answer questions and to be here to answer the tough questions. To Wayne, I think we might not just have info for a couple weeks, but we will hopefully maybe have some more information in February, is what I'm assuming.
I'll add, Wayne, that if everything works out, we'll have great information at the beginning of next week.
Okay. I guess
that's ideal. That's,
I'm, being the downy here, but it's just where
right.
where I was at in my head, and I don't mean to be taking over this discussion right now, but where I was at in my head, to be honest with you, is I fought real hard all summer to go to these meetings and stand up and tell the people of Green, here's what was going to happen. I thought it was going to, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I already thought it was a done deal, to be quite honest with you.
Right. Wayne, can I interrupt for 1 second, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just so you can understand where we are. On December 19th at 5 p.m., we met to open the bids. We were just what you are thinking at this moment. We were all on that same plane. And then we found out there were 2 bids. and one we couldn't afford, and the other was incomplete.
Yeah.
We've had one other meeting since then to try and move forward. We're asking legal advice. We're trying to work through this. So I understand what you're saying, but just remember, we opened bids on December 19th. I mean, the water level order, I mean, that was a waste of 6 weeks asking everyone, are we going to drain the lake early? So we understand, Wayne, but you're learning, you're finding out now what we knew on December 19th about getting the bids.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
We haven't had a meeting since the beginning of December. I mean,
I have a question, and I ask it out of ignorance. Are there a lot of companies that do this work? Any speculation or anyone out there with knowledge?
No, it's
why wouldn't companies bid? Is it just wondering?
Because they have so much work on so many other projects because of all the rain and bad weather and washouts and yes.
So that's what it is. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a company that does this type of work and you've got plenty of work that doesn't have a really tight fixed timeline, of course you're going to go for the easier options.
Yeah.
But God love the guys that are interested in this work, because they're willing to take that risk and they think they can do it. So we've got a couple of very good options, very, very good options. So I'm not personally worried about it, but like I said, everything can fall through tomorrow. You just never know. Don't get your hopes up, but we're doing our best to make sure that this thing tracks and is accomplished. We don't want to drag this out. God, we have day jobs. We got to, this is crazy. I mean, we're doing this all volunteer work. So it's doing our best to make sure that, I mean, I spent 3 hours on the phone with the inland fisheries and wildlife biologist to try to negotiate the earliest date we could to draw down the lake to give the contractor more time to do the work. That was fun. And we got as early as we could without, while still staying within the state's desires to have a stable water level during the waterfowl breeding habitat. I mean, there's just like 17 different moving parts.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we got your best interest at heart, and there's a person on the dam commission, or I think within this group, that isn't all kind of on the same page. And we appreciate all your efforts to get the funding lined up for from each town, which was critical.
There is some good news. We're going to get 2.5 more months of water in the pond, so there will be some boating.
Well, that's true. I mean, and right now that's absolutely true. The June 15 date is probably the earliest we're going to draw it down. July 1st is the latest. It will be drawn down, or we will open the dam by July 1st, or we will open the dam on June 15th. So you're going to have water to do whatever recreation you want, essentially through the 4th of July weekend. Pretty darn close. Takes a month to get it down 3 feet.
Didn't they say it was going to take quite a while to get the gates for the new dam built?
The lead time for ordering them.
There's a lead time issue there.
I thought it was months, so
it could be 9-10 months.
Yeah,
sure. But I learned just recently that there are more gate suppliers available. That Rodney Hunt, Whips, those are the big daddies. But there are plenty of other options. But that's a non-issue. Whether the gates are delivered on time by November 15th or not, we still have methods of closing the dam, opening the dam, whether there's a gate there or not. Stop logs are one thing that somebody brought up at previous meeting. There are ways to do that. So, and these guys that do this type of work are pros. They know how to deal with it. So it's maybe more work on from our perspective as the dam commission, because we gotta put a little more effort in, but the water level will still be able to be controlled to whatever we can do it.
Awesome.
Is there anything else that SPWP can do to support you?
I think that's up to Gary and Lou. I'm a strap hanger here. I don't usually attend your meetings, so you guys let me know.
I mean, is there anything that you particularly need resource
No,
wise?
I mean, nope. I mean, I think if, when the question was asked, just for your understanding, just give us, and again, we probably will know beginning of next week, but another week or two to, get things finalized. There's been a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that we've had before that we don't need anymore, that, just been a very complicated process, to say the least. So a little bit of time and understanding, and, we'll let you know as soon as we do.
I definitely appreciate that. Would like to make one last final plug. One thing that definitely helps with that is being able to see that process and how that gets laid out to you guys. Like, as in, like, if your meetings were recorded and uploaded, which is a huge thing. So just making another plug. It's always an important thing. But that way, people would be able to go along that journey with you, which would help, especially from a PR perspective. But just one thing. And any other talk about this, or any other questions or concerns while we have those dam commission members here, which we very much appreciate you being here and taking the time.
Yeah, I'm going 27th this month.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, guys. I got one last thing. While I have your attention, I just want to share my screen real quick. So one of the definitely one of the things I want to focus on a lot more this year is like making those connections with all of the different road associations, with all of the different arms. And this right here is what's called a network analysis. It's something I worked on for a couple of years, but I'm picking it back up. This is of the Sabattus Pond like area, the Sabattus Pond watershed, of the municipal organizations, like the state and local reps, community groups, road associations. I want to make a catalog of all of these different types of orgs and eventually start reaching out to them. I think it's a smart move. It will help us like expand resource access for both us and potentially other groups. Just being in contact with each other is also important. Being able to share information, being able to talk about problems together. So I'm just making a call out now. If you know a road association that's near you, or you are directly involved in a road association that maybe we haven't specifically talked about, please send me an email to nicholasjgayton@gmail.com. It's all over our Facebook page. You can even shoot me a message on our Facebook page. I'm on there quite a bit, and you can find me in the posts. But just let me know who I can reach out to or contact, either by email or phone, just so we can start establishing those connections. In the end of the year report that I sent out to all of you, it's just primarily just talking about how, joining together that way and making those connections just really makes us all stronger and really raises the boat for everybody. So building that relationship and building that network up is a really important part of establishing this important foundation that we're doing now. So I wanted to leave on that. But
Okay, well, I wanted to say something else.
yeah. Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So on that slide we show with all the little balloons, so you're connecting systems, or you want to connect systems. So maybe next year, okay, we've got yellow, blue, and green. So maybe next year we can add in pink or something, all the new systems that have been connected since you put out this cry for assistance. Well,
yeah, no,
we'll find new organizations that can be part of this this systemic picture.
Yeah, so it's color coded. So green essentially kind of represents just informal community groups, either on Facebook or maybe not institutionalized groups that aren't like municipal organizations or businesses or nonprofits, that type of thing. There's this collection of community members. So the colors do mean something specific, like Bates College and like the University of New Hampshire, who did some research up here, those connections there. Federal and state are in the blue, and municipal and quasi-municipal fall into that category. So that was that categorization, but certainly, oh, Georgia, I'm so sorry. I just saw you trying to enter the room. But that is definitely something that we could do. And for sure, pink could definitely be like local schools. RSU4 is somebody I've been wanting to connect with to try to establish some type of educational opportunity to maybe take a field trip out to the pond one day with some like eighth graders or something and talk about watershed protection. There are so many great resources out there. My work with the water department and stuff like that has a lot of awesome free resources that are still relevant to watersheds all over the place. So just kind of instituting some of those types of things and just kind of going from there. It's all about making those connections. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. And I will upload this video tonight as well. And I will see you next time, our next meeting. And let me just confirm on my work calendar, should be in 2 weeks' time. So the 29th. I just want to make sure I don't have any other meetings that night, but it is looking like I do not. I do not. So that's great. So we'll have our next meeting on the 29th, and it looks like we'll be back on our semi-regular biweekly schedule or 2 times a month schedule. So I'm going to stop
29th
sharing
of
my-
January at 6 o'clock.
Yep, 29th of January at 6 o'clock.
Right.
That might be a little bit before the Dam Commission has some extra information, but we will certainly probably pick up a portion of that conversation there if they do. So again, appreciate you all for being here, and we'll see you next
Good,
time.
informative meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, very much so.
Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.